Now the problem arose because the meeting at Sharad Pawar's place was construed by the media as a meeting meant for bringing the opposition parties together.
And so therefore that is not what it was about?
No, it was not.
So is an opposition alliance, the formation of an opposition alliance, is it in the works? Let me put it that way. Is it in the works?
It has to be in the works, and I am not the only one who is working on it. There are a number of people who are working on an opposition alliance because everyone feels that the opposition parties have to come together in order to face the might of the BJP in the 2024 elections. A third front idea is a non-starter. Any front which is constituted, any alliance which is forged, must have Congress party.
Right. I asked you, do you think that the opposition parties can form a consensus on one particular candidate, no matter who that is? No matter who that is.
Why not? Why not? But first, the opposition parties have to come together. They have to have a program of action. They have to have an alternative ideology. Then they have to win the election. Then the question of who the leader will.
Do you personally support Mamata Banerjee as a possible PM candidate? Why did you join the Trinamool Congress? Why not any other opposition party? Why Trinamool Congress?
And I knew what the stakes were. I could see the stakes very clearly of the West Bengal. We'll find Yashwant Sinha where the fight is.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Epicenter. I'm really looking forward to this interview because the politician we are going to speak to today is probably going to play a major role, an instrumental role in forming a possible opposition alliance for the 2024 general elections. Mr. Yashwant Sinha joined the Trinamool Congress earlier this year, and he is the vice president of the party right now. This after being a part of the BJP for decades, although of course he has left the BJP in 2018. For those of you who do not know, Mr. Yashwant Sinha was the finance minister and even the external affairs minister in the NDA government. But he has since had a major fallout with the party, especially with the current BJP leadership. His induction into the TMC is also being considered as the party trying to expand its foothold nationally, which might have a lot of significance, especially with an eye on the 2024 elections and the future of Mamata Banerjee. Sir, thank you so much for joining me on my channel, and I really hope you're going to be candid with me. So you were a part of the Rashtriya Manch meet, which was hosted by Mr. Sharad Pawar last week, which had representatives of some opposition parties and even some eminent civil society personalities. So what was the meeting about? What were the discussions like? And was the Congress party deliberately left out of the meet?
Okay. Now, let me tell you that the Rashtriya Manch was formed by some like-minded people, including me, 3 years ago. We were concerned at the situation in the country, and we identified those issues, which were issues of concern for us. So we put together some thought leaders of society. We put together the parties which were willing to join us. For instance, I spoke to Mamata Banerjee, and she had nominated Dinesh Trivedi as the representative of TMC then in Rashtriya Manch. Similarly, I spoke to the leadership of the Congress party, and they nominated Renuka Chaudhary as their representative. But Manish Tiwari had been working with us from before.
Okay.
So Manish Tiwari continued to be a member of the Rashtriya Manch. So Congress was part of the Rashtriya Manch. There were other political parties and other thought leaders of society which constituted the Rashtriya Manch. Majid Memon of the NCP is a founder member of the Rashtriya Manch. So he spoke to Mr. Pawar, and Mr. Pawar invited the Rashtramanch to hold the meeting at his place. We don't have an office yet. We have no fixed meeting place. And therefore, we decided to accept his hospitality and meet at his residence in his presence. That's how this meeting was organized. Now, Rashtramanch is a non-party political platform.
Okay.
Now, you have to understand this distinction, that it's a non-party in the sense that parties as well as non-party people could be members of it, but Rashtramanch is not a political party. But it is a political platform. And even that day, the agenda very broadly was the current situation in the country, both economic, political, social, etc. And so we had a meeting. We discussed various issues. And after that, the media was briefed about the outcome of the meeting. Now, the problem arose because the meeting at Sharad Pawar's place was construed by the media as a meeting meant for bringing the opposition parties together.
And so you therefore, think that is not what it was about?
No, it was not. And they started counting the number of parties which were represented. They played it according to their own, whatever thought process was. Right. We tried to clarify things when we met the media after the meeting was over. And I think many of those misunderstandings were then removed. They were settled.
Okay.
And I'd also like to tell you that if any political leader of any political party which is in the opposition today were to invite us to hold a meeting at his residence or office or wherever, we'll be quite willing to do that.
So is an opposition alliance, the formation of an opposition alliance, is it in the works? Let me put it that way. Is it in the works?
It has to be in the works, and I'm not the only one who is working on it. There are a number of people who are working on an opposition alliance because everyone feels that the opposition parties have to come together,
right,
in order to face the might of the BJP,
right,
in the 2024 elections.
Yeah. Right. So that said, what can you tell me about Prashant Kishore's meeting with Sharad Pawar? It is believed that you are close to Prashant Kishore. It's a really curious thing that is happening. He has met Sharad Pawar at least 3 times in the last few weeks. Is Prashant Kishore, is he joining a political party? Is he going to run the opposition's campaign in 24? What is the role that he's playing right now, or what is his intended role? What role is he intending to play?
Well, I can't answer that question at all.
Okay.
Because I am not in touch with Prashant Kishore. We know each other, but I have not been in touch with him lately. I can't tell him what transpired between him and Sharad Pawar. And why did he meet Mr. Sharad Pawar thrice? I am the last person to be able to throw any light on this.
Okay.
Because I am not in touch with Mr. Prashant Kishore.
Okay, so then let me get your opinion on this. What do you think about a third front alliance of opposition parties that is being talked about right now in the media, which will not have parties like the Congress? In your mind, can a national opposition alliance work without the Congress party?
A third front idea is a non-starter. Any front which is constituted, any alliance which is forced, must have Congress party,
right,
as almost its anchor sheet. So there is no question of having a third front or an opposition alliance without the Congress party.
Right. So if I may be allowed to voice my understanding about the 2024 elections as a journalist who's covering politics, and I know it might be considered completely irrelevant or even wrong, but my understanding is that given the political situation in the country right now, the entire opposition, like you even said, needs to come together, because right now there's no one opposition party that is strong enough to take on the BJP, at least not on a national level. Regionally, yes, we've seen examples of that most recently in Bengal and in Kerala and in Delhi. But nationally, these individual parties can't really give a challenge to the BJP. Even the Congress can't at this point. So, do you think that the opposition can really rally behind one PM candidate to take on Mr. Modi? Because I see that as one big bone of contention between opposition parties. Do you really think that the opposition parties can come together and form a consensus on one PM candidate?
Again, you are falling in the trap laid by the BJP. We are talking in terms of alternatives, not individuals as alternatives,
Okay.
but ideology as an alternative. And let me tell you, how many people will understand this, I do not know. But what we are the ideology that we would like to promote is the ideology enshrined in our constitution, which enshrines the values of the freedom struggle. And I'm convinced that the values of freedom struggle are under threat today,
Right.
because even at that point of time, there was an alternative point of view. Unfortunately, that alternative point of view has prevailed. And therefore, it's the Constitution of India and the values of the freedom struggle which are under threat.
Right.
And the
I
country has to be
completely
there for
understand
protect.
that. I completely understand what you're saying, and you're talking
Glad you
about.
understand. Yeah, I'm glad you understand. Therefore, don't ask me as to who is the alternative Modi. No, Modi represents an ideology. BJP represents an ideology, and we have an alternative ideology against him. We are not a presidential system. We are a parliamentary democracy.
So I actually did not ask you, I did not ask you an alternative to Mr. Modi. I asked you, do you think that the opposition parties can form a consensus on one particular candidate, no matter who that is, no matter who that is?
Why not? Why not? But first, the opposition parties have to come together. They have to have a program of action. They have to have an alternative ideology. Then they have to win the election. Then the question of who the leader will be. Why can't there be collective leadership? Why can't there be a presidium?
So you all don't intend to come up with a candidate name?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's early days. Maybe before 2024, parties will agree to have a candidate, have a face. But don't ask me about it today.
Okay. So Mamata Banerjee, she won an unimaginable victory in West Bengal, and there are so many things that worked in her favor and against the BJP. But one of the things that she can be criticized for is the whole insider-outsider narrative that she used in her campaign against the BJP and the BJP national leaders. She said they're not Bengalis, they don't understand Bengal's culture and heritage, etc. By that logic, if I'm just giving you I'm giving you a hypothetical situation. By that logic, if she were to be a PM candidate, she will be looked as an outsider in any other part of the country. By that logic, you are also an outsider leader in the TMC. How do you respond to this narrative that the TMC created?
Did I suggest or you suggest to Mr. Modi that he should go to Bengal and in his election rallies, he should say, Didi, oh Didi? Did you make that suggestion to him? Did I make that suggestion to him? Wasn't it the cheapest behavior on the part of the Prime Minister of a country like India? He personalized, Amit Shah and Narendra Modi personalized the election of West Bengal. And Mamata Banerjee was projected as a personal adversary, as a personal enemy. And who were these people? They were not people from Bengal. They were outsiders. Did you notice any local Bengali leader leading the fight in Bengal from the BJP side? No. It was either Modi or Amit Shah. They were the faces of BJP.
Okay.
And they were not Bengalis.
So you're saying Dilip Ghosh and Shubhendu,
nobody bothered about them.
Okay.
Nobody bothered about them. And they made it personal. It was assembly election of West Bengal. It was not a national election.
Hmm.
And because of the hype that they created with this election, it became an assembly election of national importance,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they lost.
Why did you join the Trinamool Congress? Why not any other opposition party? Why Trinamool Congress?
Because Trinamool Congress was, when I joined Trinamool Congress, involved into a mortal combat with the BJP in West Bengal.
Hmm.
And I knew what the stakes were. I could see the stakes very clearly of the
Hmm.
West Bengal elections.
Hmm.
Therefore, let me take you into confidence and tell you, I sent a brief message to Derek O'Brien,
Hmm.
in which I said that if my joining the TMC makes a difference in one seat, one
Hmm.
assembly seat, then I'm prepared to join the TMC tomorrow.
Hmm.
And then things moved very fast, and it was not tomorrow, it was the day after. And I
Hmm.
was in Kolkata and I joined the TMC.
Hmm. So what do you think about the party right now? Just the organizational structure of the TMC, what they're doing in Bengal right now. What do you have to say about the?
I'm not able to answer that question because I'm not greatly involved in the functioning of the party in Bengal at the moment.
Okay. Okay. So did you ever consider joining any other opposition party, maybe like the Congress or something?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
We'll find Yashwant Sinha where the fight is.
I just want to ask you another question, talking about a national opposition alliance. Do you think the southern opposition parties like the DMK, the YSRCP, the TRS, the TDP, do you think they can also be roped into the national opposition alliance? And if so, why isn't that already happening? As in, like,
No, there is no reason to be impatient. There is no reason
yeah,
to
because there
think
aren't
that things
any talks
will
involving
not
them
happen.
right now.
Still early days. We are
Hmm.
talking in 2021.
Hmm.
The Lok Sabha elections are due in 2024. It's
Yeah.
3 years away.
Hmm.
So, let's not rush to conclusions at
Okay.
this point of time with regard to who is with us, who is not with us,
Hmm.
and all.
Right. So last question. So do you personally support Mamta Banerjee as a possible PM candidate?
I will not answer that question because it's not a question of what my personal views are. I think she's become quite clearly a very important national figure after having won the West Bengal Assembly elections the third time, and that too in opposition to the BJP. So she's a national figure already.
Hmm.
But going forward, how will this pan out? Something which can't be or should not be predicted today.
All right, sir. So thank you so much for joining me on this channel and giving me all of your insights and perspective. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.